13-year-old Liam was no ordinary boy, living in a quiet village nestled near the edge of a vast forest. He was raised by his grandfather, a retired forest ranger with a deep respect for nature. Liam had no interest in video games or city life. Instead, he spent his days learning the rhythms of the forest, identifying birds by their calls, following animal tracks, and listening to the wind as it moved through the trees. His grandfather, known simply as Gramps, told him stories each night about the hidden wonders of the wild, some real, some cloaked in legend. Among the many tales Gramps shared, one stood out to Liam more than any other, the story of a long explorer who vanished in the wilderness generations ago. This explorer, it was said, had come to the mountains, searching for gold and secret sand, supposedly left behind something incredible that no one had found since. Most people in the village believed it was just a myth, but Liam wasn't most people. He believed the forest kept its secrets for those willing to listen. One foggy morning during his summer break, Liam decided to explore a less familiar trail near the eastern ridge of the woods. Armed with a compass, a small knife, and a sturdy backpack filled with essentials, he ventured into the trees. It wasn't long before he stumbled upon something unusual, a moss-covered stone partially buried near the base of an old pine. What caught his eye wasn't the shape or placement, it was the carvings etched into its surface. Strange symbols, curled along its edges like vines, weathered but still visible. Liam quickly sketched the symbols into his notebook and returned home, excited to show Gramps. When his grandfather saw the drawings, his eyes widened in surprise. He fetched an old ranger's map from a drawer, brown with age and torn along the edges. Comparing the symbols, Gramps explained that they matched a mysterious set of markings on the map's margins. These markings had never been deciphered by rangers of the past. Gramps had always believed they were tied to the legend of the lost explorer. Excitement surged through Liam like a jolt of lightning. The story might be true after all. That night, as Gramps slept in his rocking chair, Liam pored over the map. He noticed a faint trail leading from the marked symbol on the stone to a deep bend in the forest, an area that hadn't been patrolled or documented in decades. With his heart pounding, Liam made a plan. He would wake early, follow the trail, and see where it led. He didn't expect to find gold or magical relics, just something real, something forgotten. At sunrise, he left a note for Gramps and quietly stepped out of the cabin. With the old ranger's map tucked into his pack and a fire of adventure burning in his chest, Liam headed into the wilderness. Following the direction of the strange symbols, the forest around him felt different, quieter, older, as if holding its breath. He didn't know it yet, but his journey was about to lead him to not one, but two treasures buried deep in the wild. Liam pressed deeper into the forest than he ever had before. The thick canopy above filtered the sunlight, casting a greenish hue across the forest floor. Each step he took felt like walking into a place lost in time. He followed the markings from the old map, occasionally spotting more carved stones, each with symbols confirming he was on the right path. But this was no easy trail. The forest soon began to test him. His first major obstacle came when he reached a river, its waters swift and icy. There was no bridge, and no easy way around. Using the map, Liam guessed that he had to cross to stay on track. He studied the trees and found two large ones that had fallen across the current. Carefully, he balanced his way across one, his heart pounding with every step. One slip would have sent him into the churning water below, but he made it and let out a breath of relief as his boots hit solid ground. Hours passed. The forest thickened, and the air grew still. At one point, he heard a low, growlsome predator in the distance. He didn't wait to find out what it was. Liam climbed into the lower branches of a tree and stayed perfectly still until the sound passed. It reminded him of something Gramps always said: the forest can be a friend or a test, sometimes both. By mid-afternoon, he arrived at a cliffside, covered in ivy. According to the map, this was the spot. Two ancient pine trees framed the base, and between them was a stone with the familiar symbol from before. Behind the vines, Liam discovered a narrow crevice and entrance to a cave. It was damp and cool, with air that smelled of earth and age. Inside, symbols lined the walls, some glowing faintly when his flashlight passed over them. Deeper into the cave, Liam encountered a series of puzzles etched into stone slabs. One riddle required him to match forest animals with their corresponding tracks. Another made him align star-shaped carvings to mimic a constellation. All the answers were things Gramps had taught him over the years. As he solved the final puzzle, a hidden wall shifted open with a low rumble. Inside was a small chamber, and in its center sat an old chest, covered in moss and dust. Liam's hands trembled as he opened it. Inside lay a collection of weathered journals, a few maps, and pouches filled with old gold coins, some stamped with dates from over a century ago. Liam gasped. The first treasure the explorers lost hoard was real, but what caught his attention more than the gold were the journals. As he read through one of the journals, written in neat cursive, Liam found a startling discovery. The explorer had written of a second treasure, hidden even deeper in the wilderness. But this one wasn't about wealth. It was something greater, something meant to be protected. Liam's heart raced. He had already found something incredible, but now, a new fire lit within him. The explorer's final entry spoke of a hidden grove, a secret place where nature held its oldest secret. Treasure number 1 was real gold, but treasure number 2, Liam had to find out what it truly was. And he knew one thing for certain: couldn't stop now. With the explorer's journal in hand and the forest still humming with quiet mystery, Liam set out once again. The gold was amazing, but the mention of a second treasure intrigued him even more. The explorer had described it not in terms of wealth, but as something ancient, something that belonged to the forest and would only reveal itself to a worthy soul. Those words echoed in Liam's mind as he studied the final pages. The clues led him further, into uncharted territory past towering ferns, deep gullies, and trees so massive they blocked the sky. Along the way, Liam came across signs of animals, bear claw marks on tree trunks, eagle feathers, and the sound of distant howls. The deeper he went, the wilder the forest became. Late in the afternoon, Liam heard a faint whimper. Following the sound, he discovered a small wolf pup caught in a rusty old snare. Its leg was injured, and it growled weakly at him, baring its teeth in fear. Liam spoke softly, slowly freeing the pup and treating its wound with water and cloth. From his pack he named it Echo, and though cautious at first, the pup soon began to follow him. Liam didn't realize it yet, but Echo would become his guide to the second treasure. That night, the two camped under a natural stone arch. As Liam reread the explorer's final notes, he noticed a drawing of a grove where trees formed a perfect circle, surrounding what looked like a large compass made of stone. The next morning, Echo led the way, sometimes stopping and sniffing at the air, as if he too sensed something ahead. By midday, they reached the grove. It was unlike anything Liam had seen. A circle of massive trees surrounded an open clearing where sunlight poured down like a golden spotlight. In the center stood a stone structure, half buried by moss and vines. Carved into it were more symbols, some of which matched those from the cave. As Liam stepped forward, the ground beneath his feet seemed to vibrate. At the heart of the structure was a circular dial, like a compass, but ancient and glowing faintly. Liam placed his hand on it, and instantly a warm energy pulsed through him. The forest around him stirred, birds called, flowers opened, and a soft wind whispered through the leaves. This was the second treasure, a relic of nature itself, left behind by a forgotten civilization that had once lived in harmony with the land. The compass wasn't just a device, it was a living artifact, said to guide those with pure intentions, and help restore balance where nature was at risk. Liam understood that this treasure wasn't meant to be taken. It was meant to be protected. He took careful notes in his journal, made detailed sketches, and left the compass exactly where it was, hidden safely in the grove. He and Echo made their way home, the wolf pup now loyal at his side. When he returned, he shared the story of the gold with his grandfather but kept the second treasure a secret, just like the explorer had. Because some treasures aren't made of gold, some treasures are meant to guard the wild and those wise enough to understand it.